One of the most important things about living life successfully is to have a long and prosperous life, and it takes a while to get life figured out. And once we get it figured out, that's when we can do some of the most important things in terms of creating a life of value through contribution and creation, and leaving a legacy of value that's our immortal footprint, like on humanity. And probably the best way to extend our productive capacity over time, the timeline for that, is by maintaining momentum. Momentum is everything. Every time we start and stop, it takes energy to get going again. And so if we understand that and we have the ability to keep things moving forward at a stable and consistent pace, then we can get the most done per unit of time. We have the most time to do it because they have the longest runway possible. So this is all about mastering momentum. So let me explain a couple things here. Is that there's two ways of doing this. I want to share with you, as you see in the graphic here, the way that most people do it. And that's looking at the elevator. You can either take the steps or you can take the elevator. Elevator means you want to get to the penthouse faster. The steps is you want to get there in the least time, but you want to do it correctly the first time. Is what that means. What most people do, if you look at the elevator side of the graphic there, it says at the bottom, the human mindset impulse, meaning that us as humans, we have an inclination biologically put into us where we have a mindset, a rigid way of looking at things that just is a product of humanity that most people share because it's innately within us, is that they're impulsive. You know, what they want to do, they want to get to the finish line as quickly as possible, thinking that more can get done by getting to the finish line more quickly. So let's say, for example, a person reads 10 books in a month. Man, that sounds impressive, but the only problem is they don't remember anything, because as soon as they get done with one book, they start reading another book. And so the retention of the first book is like non-existent. And so they can't remember anything. And so if you do 10 books over a month and you've read them all, but there's no time to take what was learned in the book to incorporate it into your life, there's been, in a certain sense, like no value exchange. It actually becomes a net loss of all the time and energy that you put into the process. And I see this all the time. When we look at the graphic there, you'll notice that above human mindset impulse, there's a line there, and then it moves up where it says start. And then what it says energy, and then it says target 1. Well, and then it goes to energy target 2, energy target 3, energy target 4, etc. And what that is meant to demonstrate is that, again, we put a big effort into it, and then that effort leads to a book read or something accomplished, and then immediately we put effort into going to the next thing. And then once we get there, then we put effort into the next thing. And what you see there, it says in black type, no embedding. That's correct, because we haven't been able to take it and embed it into our life. Therefore, it was time and energy put into something that we've almost already forgot, quite honestly. And so you'll look at the top there, it says a -3 net loss. That's correct. And that's not what the prolific achievers do. They're not in a hurry to try to get somewhere, to try to catch up or get ahead of the game. But what they do, they run at a pace that allows them to take the results of the effort and let it embed into the fabric of how they do life, so that how they do life grows exponentially over time to produce more significant and a greater number of personal successes that enrich our life and add to our legacy, that can also be a case study for other people to look at and model ourselves after. So if you look at the graphic under the step portion on that side of the graphic, this is where we're taking the steps. We're not trying to take the elevator to the penthouse too quickly. And you notice that at the bottom of the steps there, it says champion's mind restraint. That is correct. the champion's mind. The mind is not a mindset. It's not a rigid set of things that we do. The champion's mind is actually a living, breathing organism that's thoughtfully considering the circumstances and what do we do with the information and how do we take that and utilize that? How do we script something that will allow us to get from where we are to where we want to get to build a body of our life value and also our contribution to humanity. And you'll notice that after the champion's mind, it has the word restraint. Correct. Restraint from what? It's the restraint from trying to get somewhere, again, too quickly using the human mindset impulse methodology that most people adopt because it's part of our hardwiring. We need to restrain ourselves from that temptation because it never delivers on that process. So in the champion's way of doing things, once you're ready to start, then we start. We put the effort in to doing what has to go right to achieve, let's say, target one. And target one would be like a step leading to a goal. And once we hit that target one, whatever that is, this is a place where there was an objective put into the plan. And once we reach that objective, rather than racing ahead to the next thing too quickly, as we discussed, this is where we don't pause, but we carry the momentum of hitting that target forward while we're doing some things to embed it, meaning that we're making it ours so we own it, that we don't have no retention of it. And the things that we do during that period to be able to retain the benefits that were derived from getting to that target is that we want to take what we learned and we want to refine the process so when we do it next time, it's a little bit more streamlined. We can get more done per unit of time. We refine it. The second thing that we do is that we want to restore several things. We want to restore the integrity and the relationships that are involved in the process, like the teammates that are working together collaboratively to be able to achieve the particular goal that we are aspiring to get, that we have completed the first step to. And then we want to recover from it. It takes time and energy from team and resources to be able to get from where we are in the effort to get to the target. And it's important that everybody gets rested up again, because if we don't rest and we're going to blow ourselves up, we're going to blow the team up, there's going to be a mutiny because people think that they're being pushed too hard, too fast by the leadership. And there's going to be a revolt if that happens. People also get sick, but they start making amateurish mental mistakes because they're fatigued and they're tired. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to recover from the effort pushed to that particular target. And then what we want to do, we want to replenish the inventory that we need. Maybe we need a little bit more materials, maybe supplies. Maybe we need some skills, maybe we need a change to the plan, maybe we need some type of equipment, etc. This is where we make sure that we replenish the inventory of things that we need so we don't get halfway to the next target and then run out of resources. Really bad idea, because if you run out of resources, what do you got to do? You got to stop, you got to get all this stuff, and then you got to start again. That takes just way too much energy. And finally, we want to reconnect. We want to reconnect as people to people. We want to reconnect as us to family, to be able to carry that forward, because we don't want our professional or personal aspirations to get in the way of nurturing and cultivating the relationships that we have both personally and professionally that are enriching to this. So you can look at the graphic here and you can see how there's an effort towards the target, which is the result of a step. We embed it by going through the process of making sure that we retain it, we replenish, we remobilize, we recharge, we recover, we also reconnect as a team. You can see how that can happen. So we repeat this, and the reason why I call it stair-stepping is because the effort would be like the face of the step where you put the foot. This is where we embed it. Once we've done that successfully, then we proceed ahead with the next effort, and then we pause to embed. But the pause is not a pause. We're carrying that momentum forward. We're not stopping anything. We're just carrying the momentum forward while we're replenishing it. And that's how we're able to get to our goal most quickly with the highest level of assurance that we'll get there the least time with least effort, and not have to backtrack and make up for things that were done because we were impulsive trying to get somewhere too fast. And that's what stair stepping is all about. So I hope you have found this valuable, and this is the prescription that all the champions used, and let's make sure that we don't learn this the hard way by pushing too hard, using the time and energy that we have frivolously, where we unfortunately don't retain or remember anything because we're just pushing too hard, too fast to try to get somewhere, because it doesn't work, and every champion knows that. So please take this Champion's Insight, apply it to your own life, and you'll be glad you did. And always be mindful that there's always room at the top for the best. Onward and upward.
Cutting.